Hi there, it's Brett Dawson here. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the hot weather warnings that we're having in the UK at the moment. Now, I grew up in South Africa where temperatures are regularly in the 30s. We have regular heat waves that hit upper 30s and lower 40s. And there are a couple of things that I'd like to share with you to help you just understand what to expect under those circumstances. So the first thing, of course, is that you want to stay in the shade. Don't go out into the sun. It's not a good place to be. If you can't find any shade and you do have to spend a bit of time in the sun, then it's probably sensible to wear a hat. That'll help keep the intensity of the sun off your skin and just take a little bit of the edge off the heat. Stay hydrated, drink more water than you think you would normally drink, so take higher levels of fluids. You may also find that your appetite drops off, and when you're not eating things, what happens is that you're not getting the electrolytes that you need. So one of the things you might think about doing as well is just to make sure that when you're drinking water, also drink a few some electrolytes. You can buy this at a pharmacy. And the other thing you want to do is you want to really pay attention to your physical exertion. So any physical activities that you would normally do, you need to cut those in half, and anything that's like physically demanding, you probably want to not do that on a day like today or tomorrow. One of the things that you'll find as well is that there will be an impact on infrastructure. Now, it's a little bit difficult to know what does that actually mean. So what it means is tar roads are going to get so hot that they might start melting. So you'll have liquid tar lying in part of the roads in some areas, depending on the quality of the tar and the makeup of the material that was used in making that. But there are going to be places in some areas where that'll probably start happening. And then, of course, what you don't want to do is go driving through that or walking through it. The other thing that to look out for is things called expansion joints. So typically when you lay railway tracks, you leave a tiny little gap between the metal rails so that when it's hot, the rail will expand, and that gives you, it closes that gap. Now, if that gap is not big enough, because the temperatures were never expected to get to 40, what you'll find is that those rails will actually buckle and they'll jump off out of their settings, and that means that that section of rail is not going to be passable for a train. And so not only is it sensible to have speed restrictions, but it's also probably you'll find that there'll be quite a few disruptions in terms of rail travel. Expansion joints can affect other things like bridges and pavements. So what you might find is that you might find some buckling in areas where you would normally expect a flat surface, and that presents a tripping hazard. So that's what you need to look out for. Okay, look out for others. That's the other thing you need to look out for is when people or animals become overwhelmed by heat, their judgment becomes impaired, and the ability to be able to think sensibly about what to do becomes an issue, it becomes a challenge. So look out for your neighbors, especially vulnerable neighbors who are elderly. Make sure that they're rehydrating. It may be that they're just feeling so desperate that they just are not thinking about actually hydrating, and that can cause a significant problem for them. And the other thing is pets. So we've got rabbits, and our rabbits normally have a bit of shade, but we don't think the shade is actually going to be good enough for them today. So what we did this morning was we built a pen in the house, and we've taken the rabbits indoors, and we're going to keep them indoors for the next 2 days to just help them with, to make sure that they don't get exposed to this heat. And I nearly forgot to mention one of the most important things. The temperature inside a car gets extremely hot in these conditions. Even if you leave the window open, the temperatures can get up to 50 degrees plus. So thinking that you can leave a pet or a child or anybody in there, even with the window slightly open for some fresh air, that actually isn't going to work. It's really dangerous. Don't leave anything or anybody inside a car in this weather. Now, obviously, if the car's moving and you've got an air conditioner on, that's fine. But if it's a parked car on the side of the road and it's just left in the sun, that's where the problem lies. So I just wanted to share these ideas with you, some of the lessons that I've learned growing up in seriously hot climates, and I hope you find it useful. And I'll chat to you again soon.